Well, good morning, everybody. It's the 29th of December, 2024, in the beautiful desert in Quartzsite, Arizona, where we're boondocking. And there's Dottie in the back, sleeping away. It's 7:23 a.m., and the temperature outside is a little cool 38 degrees, about 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. Yet the forecast for the weather remains very good. I looked at the next 10 days, the wind forecast, which is my number one priority, because even if the weather's great, if the wind's too high, it's not much fun being outside. And my threshold for inconvenience is 10 or greater, and I don't see anything near that for the next 10 days, so winds are great. The highs are low 60s to low 70s, which is ideal here. And I said highs, right? Highs, high 60s to low 70s, and lows are 40 to 47, and you couldn't ask for anything better for weather. So let's go ahead and jump into the comments here. Kathy Stevens comments on amazing kindness, positive news number 290. A great story about a waitress that was kind to a couple of firefighters, and they found out some things about her, and the kindness was returned over tenfold, more than tenfold, 100-fold. Great story. Kathy Stevens says, I love kindness. I wish it would spread like wildfire. What a wonderful world this would be. Now that's a line from a song. What a wonderful world this would be. What song was that? Kindness is key. The kindness the waitress showed was given back tenfold. The community was fabulous to help with what made life easier for this kind waitress and her father. Many thanks. Road Warrior on the ride to Blythe. That was the long form video. Check out Oxbow Road on your way back. It's a nice long run. The Colorado River might see some eagles. Thanks for the suggestion. I will check that out. Mr. Eroshin says Google Maps will show any highway backups or accidents. We like Smart and Final. They have much better prices than Albertsons. Also, in the next few weeks, a groceries outlet store will open on the west end of Blythe. Didn't know that. I shopped almost exclusively at the one in Desert Hot Springs. It was better prices than Smart and Final. We spend our winter at the Midland LTVA located outside of Blythe. So they know what they're talking about. Good info. So I love comments. Mike Jones says, the video reminded me that we need to go shopping as well. I was at Smart and Final in Yuma and found some of their meat prices less expensive than Sam's Club. I'm going to guess that everything is going to be more expensive in California. That's probably true. If you need a Sam's Club to run to Yuma, I will drive. Bring a cooler. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. B. Door. The looks Dottie gave you when you asked her to go walk was sweet. She's a pretty little girl, and she's got personality. I can see the bond the two of you have. That's from B. Door, D-O-R-R. And Paul Owen says, hi, Rob. Regarding coming and going from your campsite at night, what method do you use, or would you suggest on how to find your way back to your campsite in the dark without getting lost? And my answer, I wrote this to him, was I just rely on experience. I've gotten lost more than once learning. True statement. Other people use you can put a light out, but it was just a white light. You look like every white light out there, maybe a colored light, something like that. My church family, at timestamp 4123, box of individual popcorns. I was yelling, there they are at the TV, like you'd hear me. I wish I did hear you. Ken says, I do that all the time, and I know they cannot hear me. Same, my grandsons laugh at me all the time. That's Wendy Sosa. That's funny. Kadi Wampole. Big thing for people coming to LVAs and other PM Limit is to read and understand the rules and regulations you can find easily by doing a web search. Solid advice. Had a long-time camper not like what I'm doing. He tried to bully me by saying, I'll report you to the ranger. Needless to say, I know I'm right in the fact there's nothing in there for what he was complaining about. I ended up telling him to do what he feels he needs to. Couldn't couldn't do that if I didn't know the rules and kowtow to the guy's wishes. Remember, it's not incumbent to other people to act as you wish, but you can move yourself if you can move yourself if you wish. That's the best advice in that. If you're having a dispute with a neighbor, I would move. I would, if it didn't look like it was going to resolve and it was going to be a happy time. We have wheels. We can move. And the other thing I would warn folks about, not this writer, I'm not directing this at you. Just your words reminded me of something. I did do a video on the rules, and I really stress to people that there are specific things that are not, you're not allowed to do, but there's also a rule in there that people that maybe not aware of, but you can lose your payment for any behavior that they determine is in conflict with the goals and objectives of the Bureau of Land Management at the discretion of the employee. So you could be doing something that a ranger or a camp host feels is not in accordance with the overall goals and objectives of their organization. So it doesn't have to be something that is specifically forbidden. And that's not really a debate to have with another camper, but I would caution people, if you're approached by a ranger or some other official on BLM and they're telling you that there's something that you're doing that they're admonishing you for, I wouldn't engage in an argument that show me where it says that. I support people's right to appeal things, and the way to do that is to be compliant and polite, and then you can contact the Yuma field office, which is over the areas here, and talk to them about what happened and try to get some kind of resolution politely through channels, instead of having an argument with an employee that has a particular view. They could be wrong, or you could be wrong. So that's my advice if something like that happens. Virginia Hankey says, you elicited a huge belly laugh on the email, dear friend, and your flair for women's clothing. I can't say I ever noticed. That may take some explanation. I get solicited every so often for, will you promote our product? And they all sort of sound the same. They try to make you think they're watching your channel, and they praise how great your channel is. And this email said, and we watch your channel and we think you would be an excellent fit for our line of women's wear. It's pretty funny. It was funny enough I had to read it yesterday on the Quartzsite Comments. Kadiwampol, that is the closest pawn shop. That is the closest pawn shop to Quartzsite is in Blythe. Just some advice: if you use them to pawn, get money for an item to end up buying it back for the money that was lent to you. If you do it often, readjust your finances, but it's great for short-term needs. Yeah, I'm assuming that, if you give them a watch and they give you $20 for the watch, it's going to cost you, what, 25 or 30 to get it back, right? I don't know exactly. I think that's the fundamentals of how pawn shops work. They don't give you the money for free. There's a fee. I just don't know how much it is. Trailer Trash Tim, I have no idea there was pet hair on this channel. I'll never watch again. In fact, I'll never watch YouTube again. I may even leave America. I think he's being ironic and sarcastic. Not sarcastic, ironic and funny. Because I had a viewer that was offended by the pet hair on my t-shirts every day. Ken Gray, I've seen this happening more and more, so glad it's catching on. And that was on the Amazing Kindness Positive News video with the waitress. Torvy Cat, well, I like Dottie's outfit. He or she must mean Dottie's harness, right, Dottie? Yeah. Another one for Torvy Cat. I love pet hair. I used to be a dog walker in San Diego. Dog fur is beautiful. Carmen Okay, I'm not, Carmen, forgive me, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. There's no way. I can like hold half of it in my head and then I lose it, so I can't really. I can't. I'm sorry. I remember the song in the year 2525. Yep, watched you again, and yep, I remember Romper Room. In the year 2525. That's all I remember from the song. Desert Deb. Hey, Desert Deb. She's a buddy. Garcia's has the best Mexican food around here. I noticed they moved to a different building with more seating right off Lovekin Boulevard. Good tip, because I want to take my friends that are arriving today and staying in an RV park in Quartzsite. Charlie and Diane, they took me to a nice restaurant in Eagle Nest when we were staying in New Mexico. So I want to return the favor and take them to a nice restaurant here, and that's going to be Garcia's in Blythe. Ken says, I noticed Dottie loves going with you, but you're so much loves going with you, but you're so much happier when she's there. Heartwarming. Yeah, I guess I am. I like having my Dottie dog with me. When I don't take her, it's because I feel like I'm going to leave her too long in the car, so I don't take her. I feel like it's going to be too long. Robin Goff says, that was such a great story. The waitress story, of course. Ken again, extra lean ground beef, 96% lean, is thought to be overall healthier, but the fat content will affect the flavor of the final product. Basically, anything over 85% is probably a matter of taste, since Dottie has kept the pounds off. So, there's another comment we're going to come across that suggests that higher fat beef is better for dogs. I've heard lower fat, that's not good for dogs, and I haven't seen anything reputable or official. So I know I have a listener that's a veterinarian. She's come on here before, and if you're listening now, could you weigh in on, if you're feeding your dog ground turkey or ground beef, do we go low fat or high fat or somewhere in the middle? What would be the rationale? TJM Caution, or is it Tim? No, it's TJM. Love your informational videos. Retired firefighter, have been coming to Quartzsite for almost 30 years. Will be here on 17th of January. Hope to meet up with you, possibly watch all your videos. Thank you for all the time you put into them. That's around the time I think I'm going to have the meetup at the dog park. RV Life 289. I only have 95 followers, and I get those emails too. That's funny. Ken Gray, for me, I loved Lamb Chop's Play Along. This is the song that doesn't end. And I think Lamb Chop was Captain Kangaroo. Chuck Brewington, Dottie has the happiest tail on the walk. Yeah, she's got a happy tail. Do you have a happy tail, Dottie? Todd, go. Dottie, wake up. Her eyes are open, but she's not lifting her head. Dandy Dan is new subscriber here after watching older videos. You have a great channel, Dottie, because of the great channel Rob produces for you. Tell Rob he's appreciated. Are you hearing this, Dottie? So tired of watching the infomercial channels. Y'all stay safe. Yeah, the level of that is steadily increasing, where, you know, even my favorite ones, they'll stop, you know, in the middle of a video, and there'll be a pitch person for a product, and I guess they're probably being paid pretty well, and it's probably a heck of a temptation. It probably is. And the rationale, the rationale, I can see it, that, hey, people are watching commercials anyway. They have the whole time I've been doing my video. What's one more with me doing the commercial? Still not feeling good about it, though. It's like, it's almost, you expect these commercials to come on because they're on every YouTube channel, and it's how you make a little bit of money. But it almost seems kind of a betrayal when the person that you're watching that kind of seems like a friend. That's how I feel when I watch somebody, a lot of their videos, and suddenly they're trying to talk me into It's one thing to watch a commercial on their channel. You know, they have nothing to do with it. But when they're saying it, it's more personal. And it's like, oh, you're trying to, like, if you were sitting around a campfire talking to a friend and suddenly they tried to talk you into buying something. You know what that makes me think of? What was that pyramids, Amway? If anyone remembers Amway, I ran into a couple of people. I ran into a woman. I started dating her, and it turns out her and her whole family were into Amway, and the relationship suddenly evolved into a commercial or a recruiting thing. And I'm like, they ruined it. They just ruined it. Ted Sturgeon says, what are the rules for using your generator to charge up your batteries? And I said 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Those are the rules. But as always here and everywhere, there's rules, right? There's rules, there's laws, and there's etiquette. Etiquette's important. So, and you know what? I need to edit that because that's wrong. It's not 7 a.m. It's 6 a.m. So I'm going to go in and edit that comment. It's 6 a.m. I've made that. I'd get corrected pretty quickly after this video. So it's 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So etiquette is, if you're anywhere, I guess if you're off, it's possible to be really far off from anybody out in any of these LTV areas. It's huge. But if you're anywhere near anyone, 6 a.m., I'd say, unless you have a vital reason for having power, like, you know, your only source of heat is gone and you're shivering, yeah. Anything else, if you could wait till later in the day, that's etiquette, right? And I want to be careful about how I say this. If you're not familiar, these portable generators that you can buy, like in Home Depot or any stores like that, or even online, they're gas or propane powered motors that have an inverter built into them so you can plug things in. Okay, that's what these generators are. But there are two main types: open frame and closed frame generators. An open frame generator also often is called a construction generator. You can just kind of tell by looking at them and the price. The price on an open frame generator will be lower because there's less cost going into the build and installation from the sound. That's the big difference, the sound. An open frame generator is really good on a construction site because it is the song of a construction site, right? In a camping environment, it can be extremely intrusive. That sound can carry for miles. It's the bane of existence for many boondocking people, is the neighbor that has the open frame generator. Closed frame generators are more expensive, but they're far quieter. They go around 60 decibels, which isn't bad at all. You get more than 100 feet away, and it's almost like a hum in the background, especially if it's not revving up to the full potential. So I said I wanted to be careful because some people can't afford the extra money for a closed frame generator, but I think you can if you shop carefully, because there are ones in particular that you can buy on Amazon, and granted, they're probably made in China, but I can tell you this: the ones that you don't think are made in China or aren't made overseas, they actually are. I have a Predator, 5,000 watt Predator. It's a real fancy one. It was pretty expensive, and it is the brand name for Harbor Freight. Guess where it's made? It's made in China, right? It's made by a company in China that is kind of known for so-so quality generators, but they have a special contract with Harbor Freight. So there's certain very specific specifications that they need to meet building these generators. And they do it in China. and they're delivered here. And when it's under warranty, you bring it in and it's broken, guess what? They don't repair it. They just give you a new one. There's no repair service for them. So it's the most efficient way for Harbor Freight to sell generators, and they have a very low failure rate. But they can be fairly expensive. I'm going into way more detail than I intended. But there are other ones that look for the advertising of what the decibel rating is if it's included. If it's a good close frame generator. Also, close frame generators usually have pure sine wave inverters. And I know I'm getting into the weeds here, but the construction generators sometimes may not have that. I'm not sure. But you definitely want, for things like electronics, you want a pure sine wave inverter. You just do. And, I'm hesitating a little bit because I'm not sure that it's accurate that I'm saying that construction generators don't have those. I'm going to Google that right now. Open frame generators, pure sine wave, question mark. See what it says. Yeah, I think, you know why? Because I think you need pure sine wave to run certain electrical motors, and that's going to be a big thing on construction generators. So I'm looking at Ryobi is a delivers 6,500 starting watts, 5,500 running watts, pure sine wave technology, and that's an open frame inverter. They call it an open frame inverter. And here, hang on, let me just show you the difference. This is the way generally an open frame generator looks. I hope there's not too much glare and you can see that. And if you want to, let me show you a closed frame generator. And this is a picture of mine. Right. Do you see how the whole body of the generator is closed versus how there were just sort of bars and open? It's easy to tell. You can tell at a glance once you're used to it when you're shopping for generators. Oh, that's an open frame. That's a closed frame. The closed frame ones are probably going to have, they're probably going to brag about their decibel level. Let me see if this one says in the specification. Yeah, sound rating 61.7 dBA. Right, and I'm betting that most construction generators, since they don't care, I'm not going to give you anything, and if they do, it'll be a much higher number. So anyway, I'm sorry for the long tangent. On a simple question, look, Ted Sturgeon said, what are the rules for using your generator to charge up your batteries? Oh, and I went on and on, didn't I? Curtis Wallace says, how do your batteries get day after day and night of use? What is your battery level first thing in the morning? I'd say about 75%. I'm looking up there. It is, the sun's coming up. It's 7:15. I'm at 73%. And I run my Starlink all night. And that runs 50 to 60 watts continuously. So that's a pretty big drain. Do I need to run my Starlink all night? No, I could probably shut it down, but I don't, because I have enough battery and enough solar to get me back up during the day. Now, if I know that I've got a lot of very cloudy or rainy days in a row, I'll shut it down at night so I don't have to run my generator as much to keep things charged up. But keep in mind, the answer to that question, his question is, what percentage of your batteries in the morning? And I said about 75%, which is accurate. But that's not meaningful without knowing how much in battery I have, how much in solar I have, and how much I use. That it's meaningless, right? So I would say I use continuously during the day, between like what I'm doing now in the TV, in the lights and everything, about about 200 watts. I'm looking up there. It's pulling because there's no sun coming in, right? So this is a good time to look at that usage. So I've got the Starlinks running. I'm uploading stuff. I've got lights on for filming. The TV's on over there, and if you look at my shunt, I am using 100. Well, let's just say 200 watts continuously. So that's how much I'm using. I've got about 1,300 watts in solar. And keep in mind, like almost half that is flat on the roof, which is terrible this time of year because of the angle of the sun. The rest of my solar is on the ground, and it's at an angle towards the sun, facing south. So it's on the ground, it does much better. But 1,300 watts of solar and 600 amp hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries, LPO4. So that's that. Good answer. Good question, I mean. My dog does very good with plain pumpkin. I mix it in his food. Give him a little treat. That's expensive hamburger. Yeah, it was expensive hamburger. My dog's done well in ground beef as well as ground pork. That was Chuck Brewington. RV Life says, great story. Thanks for sharing this. That was on The Waitress. Good news stories are always great. Wendy Sosa, hi Rob, Smart Final is definitely on the more expensive side. I have one down the street from me, but I don't shop there. It's a nice store and usually well stocked though. I buy the 96% at Walmart for $6.83 per pound. The less fat gives you a little more meat. Let's see, I'm just curious at the Walmart in Parker if it comes close. Let's look at that. I'm curious if the Walmart here comes close to what Wendy's getting where she lives. Let's search Walmart hamburger. And it may take a hamburger meat. It may take a minute to get to the 96%, 93, 93, 96 is $7.46 a pound. So it's 50 or 60 cents a pound more. And what did I say I paid? I paid $46 for 6 pounds. So I was paying $7.66 at Smart and Final, which was 20 cents a pound more than Walmart and Parker. And that was all before tax, so tax isn't involved there. So Smart and Final was a little bit more than Walmart. And then in town here, just in town in Quartzsite, in the wonderful, I just love the market. It was $32.50 for 5 pounds, and that was $6.50 a pound. So, but that was not 96, that was 93. So that's a 3% difference in fat. I know the less fat, the more beef you actually get, the more expensive it is, right? So those are kind of the price variances, if you're interested in that kind of thing. RV Life says, great story. Thanks for sharing this. I'm sorry. I already read that. Wendy Sosa says, the crazy thing with people is that they forget they have a little magic wand called a remote control that can change the channel right from where they're sitting if they aren't happy with what they're seeing. Why do you think they have to say has any importance to you? So silly. One I hid from this morning was I was on Interstate 10 on yesterday's video on the ride to life, and I was mentioning, hey, it's great when I'm not pulling the trailer, I can go 75, which is the speed limit on here. And he was admonishing me for doing the speed limit. I wasn't speeding, I was doing the speed limit. and I was keeping up with traffic. It was all nice and safe, and it was a smooth road, and it wasn't okay with him that I was doing. He thinks I should be doing 65, even though it's 75. I mean, why throw your criticisms at someone that you don't know? And he seemed to think it's safer. It's not necessarily safer to go a different speed than the traffic flow under all circumstances. Under some circumstances, when I'm pulling my trailer, I'm doing 62, and there are trade-offs for that, because I am having people passing me quite a bit, and that increases the risk. But the risk is higher for me to be pulling my trailer at 65 or 70, if that's the speed limit, because I'm not comfortable with the stability and my ability to stop and control my truck and my trailer at those higher speeds. In California, you can't do that. In California, the maximum speed on any highway, regardless of the posted speed limit, if you're pulling a trailer, is 55. Right? If you were in California, you knew that. You might not have known that if you weren't not from California. Let's see. How big is your inverter? Larry Couch, and my inverter is 3,000 watts. What does that mean? Well, that means that it basically, I think, will handle a surge. It'll handle. I can't remember. I have to Google. It's a Renogy 3,000 watt inverter surge. Okay, so it's got a 90% efficiency with 6,000 watt peak surge. So it'll run something that takes 3,000 watts to run, and if there's a startup, it'll go up to 6,000 watts. So that's a big inverter for an RV, especially an RV that's got a 30 amp electrical circuit, a small RV. And I could probably get away with a 2,000 watt, but it's overkill for me. So what are the power hungry things that I run? Well, I run my microwave, which probably surges 2,500 to 2,800 watts and runs at about 1,800. And then you have to add in what other things you might be operating in the background, like this 200 watt minute to minute use that I talked about earlier. Air conditioning. Now, yes, I can run my air conditioning with my batteries. And the surge there is actually not all that important, because I have what they call a soft start, which is a capacitor device that was added on and installed into my air conditioner that removes the surge from that. And it runs at about the same as my microwave. So when the compressor's going and everything's on high, it's about 1,800 watts pretty continuously until it gets the temperature down. So, Rob, you mentioned you had 600 amps of battery. How long can you run that air conditioner? The answer is not long. Do you ever do it? Hardly ever. Because if I'm going to turn on my air conditioner for any amount of time, I'm going to fire up my generator and do it. And I might do it on 1 or 2 days if I stay to the end of March, where it might start getting warm. But this time of year, there is no day where I'm going to need an air conditioner. Not so much when I'm in Eagle Nest. In Eagle Nest, you can get some warm days where you want that, but I'm plugged in up there, so I don't use my batteries. Here's what it really is. Gives me peace of mind for, though. I leave George and Dottie often if I'm going out for a long time and I'm going to be a distance away. I leave them in here, and I have 2 mechanisms, my camera and my Wi-Fi connected thermostat. I have 2 ways where the indoor temperature is monitored continuously, and I will get an alert if it goes over a threshold. So if it gets too hot, I can remotely turn on my air conditioner through my battery if I'm boondocking somewhere, or if I'm plugged in. But if I'm boondocking and it's gotten too hot, I can flip on that AC, and I know it'll cool it down, and it'll run for, I could probably get 2 hours out of it, but hopefully I'm not 2 hours away and I can get home in time to get the generator going, fire it up, keep the AC going, make sure the pets are comfortable, and recharge the batteries. So that's a little extra insurance that I have. Again, a long explanation for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 word question. How big is your inverter? Lynette says groceries are expensive everywhere. Definitely disappointing that there are more than in Quartzsite. Yeah, just like 50 or 60 cents a pound more. Question: long steaks. This is a Betty Y. A Betty Y. A Betty Y. A Betty Y. A underscore BEDD underscore BEDDY underscore Y. A Betty Y. A Betty Y. Okay. This is on an older video. 10 things to know before you go to Quartzsite. Question: long stakes in the hard ground. Have you ever not been able to get a spike out? Last trip I had to leave 2 spikes. I hate doing that because as a former backpacker, I live and breathe, leave no trace. And you should leave no trace. That it might take somebody's tire out someday if you leave a spike in the ground like that. Or it could hurt wildlife, lots of things. I just couldn't get them out. Do I need to carry a crowbar? I would say you just need to carry a claw hammer. My claw hammer, a crowbar wouldn't be bad if you got room for it. They're not expensive, so you can invest in one of those. But I use the claw and my claw hammer, and I always get my stakes up. But you're right. If you can help it, please don't leave it. And if you can't get it out, ask. If you're out here, there's plenty of people to ask for help. Nana Bell Travels. Thanks for the video, Rob. It was fun going along with you. I'm sure Dottie will like the good stuff. Yeah, she does. You know, I was a little worried because I bought that can of pumpkin and I made that batch of 6 pounds of ground beef and the huge bag of peas and carrots and the huge can of pumpkin, and everything came out kind of in the bags, the sealed bags, the vacuum pack bags, pumpkin colored. I'm like, is she gonna? She loves it. She's fine with it. She doesn't care what color it is. Hey, Nash says, hey, Rob, you should tell them rich people have fur coats. People would love to have fur on their clothes. Yes, I have fur on all my clothes, and I love it. I don't even know, because my vision's, even with the glasses on, I can't really see. But I understand, like, people have big screen TVs, and there's probably hairs all over my black shirt. Well, like Naj says, rich people have fur coats. I have a fur t-shirt. Gypsy Minstrels 8744. Some people like the dog hair person apparently have too much time on their hands and actively hunt for something to be offended by. I'm not sure that's always true. I mean, people don't hunt for it, but different people get triggered by different things that they see in a negative and positive way. I mean, that's what makes the world go around. We're all a little bit different. And the right way to handle that is, I'm really uncomfortable watching this guy. I can't pay attention because I'm so bothered by this guy talking that has the pet hair bothers me. Then it's a sign you should try another channel. Try watching something else. It's not necessary to get on there and admonish him and say, you need to conform to my expectations for me to watch your channel. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Carmen, I'm not going to try the last name. I'm not going to do well. We have our email that we check on our devices. Dottie is checking the P-mail on her device, the Frock. That's funny. Her P-mail. Dan Doe, hi Rob. Thank you so much for your comments on our battery setup. Yeah. I think I was saying you probably didn't seem like you had enough solar for the battery setup they had. Always enjoy seeing the star of your videos. That's from Al Rosen. That's the star is clearly Dottie, not me. Gimbal Girl, yes, on Dome Rock, on the Dome Rock thing. It comes out by Love Station. Thank you. I asked, hey, if I'm stuck in traffic, can I get off at this Dome Rock exit and makes my way back to Quartzsite? She says, yep. It's a straight shot from that exit right out at Love Station. You can get right into Quartzsite. Good to know. Bruce Johnson says Smart and Final beats Walmart any day. I guess it depends on what you mean by beats, because this time it didn't beat a particular Walmart on the price of Hamburg by about 43 cents or something. Gordeng, Gordeng, 4001. The burger place of the 76 station before you cross the state line is Fat Burger. And yes, it is. I was straining to remember the name of that place, Fat Burger. I believe it's a Los Angeles-based chain, Fat Burger. JB5258. Oh my God, I have 5 dogs and I sleep in pet hair. I would spend all my waking hours trying to remove pet hair. Me too. I had to edit my post. I live for my dogs. I still have a year until I live my nomad dream. I have a Corgi mix. Is Dottie a Corgi mix? Some people think yes. Do I know for sure? I'm not certain. Stephanie McBroom says Dottie is checking her messages from her furry friends. That's funny. Mark Rollheiser, great video. That was on the comments. And Barb, my buddy Barb in camp here, says I have to remember to bring my bags, however I can get Asian food in Blythe. So that is the ride to Blythe. Greg Half, I was there yesterday getting an oil change. And Wild Wolf says, excellent relationship advice on my Quartzsite Comments video on the 28th. What relationship advice did I give? I'm sure maybe I gave some. Heck, I'm glad it was good. I don't remember. Dan W. says, really enjoyed this video in your channel, Rob. What drew me to it initially was Dottie, who resembles our Chigi, Cody. You did the right thing passing the tractor. The driver seemed to be pulling over to the right so you could get by. Curious, when I looked at the waitlisted escapees Yuma Park, it looked like everyone, with the exception of 2 waitlistees, had signed up in 2024. It's relatively new escapees rotate. I think it made relatively news, but it's not brand new. And I think they had a bunch of people go through the list. Because you can, if you're on the list with your deposit and the deposit's not real high. At this one, it's $1,300. And you come up faster than you think and you're not ready, or you've changed your mind and you just go, I want my $1,300 back. So they can go through a lot of those really quickly. So one of the reasons that attracted me to it, because that list will probably go pretty quickly. Haas, hey, Travels with Dottie. Sorry for shopping price dilemma. Ain't that a bummer? I'm half blind too. Sometimes I got a question or a mission for you. If I travel to Quartzsite, will I be able to find Diet Sundrop citrus soda there? Mountain Dew and others won't work. Buddy, I've got no idea. I've never heard of that stuff. Let's see what else he says. The internet says it's available at Food Line. Is there a Food Line grocery in Quartzsite? No, not even close. Well, I need to stock up and bring a big supply. I say yes. I'm going to go yes. Diet Sundrop and plenty of ice and water is all I drank for 67 years. My mother even fed it to me about. I would say load up, buddy, because I don't even know if there's a Food Lion in Yuma. I don't even know if there's a Food Lion in Phoenix. Oh, my vet always said feed my furry animals 80-20 on processed meat, or even 70-30, because their digestive system is a straight shoot. They're able to digest it easier, and it keeps their poop a softer consistency so they won't get stopped up. But I guess those veggies you put in there might do the trick. I'm just saying, have a good day. Thanks, Haas. Well, so I've mentioned people have said the opposite here. So I'd love it if that veterinarian is watching, if you could weigh in. A bus and a pyre. My bus had been towed to Blythe 2 times, and they never stopped the tow truck to check my fridge. They just waved them through. The driver told me they usually stop box trucks, U-Haul trucks, and check them for recycling hauls. California has a higher deposit, and people bring cans and plastic by truckloads to cash in, and the border people have them seized. Interesting. I've heard that before. Some guy got into like millions of dollars of fines or something where he had a business where he was bringing outside returns into California for the higher rate. There was a Seinfeld episode where Kramer and Newman had the same scheme, New York to Michigan, but they don't have a sense of humor about it in California. The 14 Wanderers. My dog does the same thing. It's annoying and frustrating. She's extremely smart about a lot of things, but have a stubborn streak in her I cannot break. People have told me the Great Pyrenees are known for their stubbornness. Yeah, when we're out walking, if Dottie wants to stop, I can pull on that leash pretty hard, and she does this. And certainly I'm not going to drag her through rocks and dirt in the desert. So I have to wait until she's ready when she's that stubborn. So Wild Wolf. So are folks using toilet seat covers for the vault toilets? I have no idea. Toilet seat covers were never my thing. I don't know. I'm sorry. Anna G. Rodriguez. Rob, if you go Thursday, you can get a big discount on the meat. I'm a Smart and Final shopper, and I go there all the time. It's just right in my corner, but I'm in California, and the prices are not that high, but it is out there. I'll be heading out there like it is out there, but I'll be heading out there Monday. Well, good tip. So that was 5 hours ago. I bet we got, because we've released a couple of videos, we've got some more out there already, I bet. Yeah, we do. We do. Quite a few. All right. Jeremy Grandestaff says, hope it was a great time. That was on author Debbie Dickinson mini meetup. That was today's long forum. In today's today's positive news videos, why shutting down a kids camp is good news. It's a good one. And Gooch 71 says God is good. Sally Lily or Lily is she does like a smiling, laughing. She says laughing at your pet hair on your shirt comment. David Dresdo 895. Laugh out loud objection, Your Honor. Your Honor, thanks for the videos. It says LO objection, Your Honor, HAGD, thanks for the videos. I don't know what the HA had or hag. What's near the G? I don't know. Mighty Mousy Van, you should let the mean comments stay and let us deal with the haters. I laughed at your response, though, and you're right. So many things to put energy into hating, like racism, child abuse, pet and animal abuse, but they choose to be offended by pet hair. I always look at pet hair on you and think, it's cool he doesn't care. People care too much about silly things. So let me explain why I don't leave the comments out there for you guys to handle them. Because mostly what these people are looking for is engagement. They thrive on the engagement. And as a counselor, I used to be somewhat of a bullying expert for kids. And I worked with a lot of kids on bullying. And generally, the kids that are bullied consistently are the ones that have strong reactions to the bullying, because that's the payoff that the bullies are looking for. They're looking to create upset. And that's why it explains why some kids get bullied and some kids just don't get bullied. Because the bullies will test just about everyone and they will zero in on the ones that have a reaction. So the kids that don't get bullied just sort of don't react. They act like they don't care. And that's no fun for the bully. So here's what I do. I can go into a comment, like I'll go into this comment here, and it'll say, I can pin the comment, remove the comment, I can report the comment, or I can hide user from channel. What does that mean? And that's the one I do. I hide the user from channel. So what does that mean? What's hidden? What's hidden is their comment gets hidden from everyone but them. They can continue to watch the videos and they can continue to comment, but neither I nor you will see those comments. And while I'm tempted before I do that to send them a snarky response, I resist that temptation, and they never get any feedback from me or from you. And they go away. They go to someone that's going to respond to them, because if they put something provocative out there and they get no response, it's no fun. Now, if they figure it out, and the only way they can figure it out is put out a comment and log into another YouTube channel and look and see if that comment's there, and if that comment's not there, that's the only way they can tell they've been hidden from the channel. And what the tenacious ones will do, they'll go, well, I'll just create a new account and go after you. Well, sometimes they do that, but I figure out that's pretty obvious what they're doing. And it's, let me tell you how easy, let me show you. One click to bring up the menu, a second click to hide from channel, and I'm done. It takes the person a hell of a lot more clicks to create a new channel than it takes me to hide them, and I'll hide them all day long. They can create 100 channels to try to get me, and all they're going to get is hidden from. So do you see how that works? And if you have kids or grandchildren that have problems with bullies, there's a great program that's free online. It's called Bullies to Buddies. It's Bullies to Buddies in the number 2, bullies2buddies.com. And Izzy Kalman is a guy that had this theory about how to deal with bullies that works really, really well. And there's lots of examples and videos, and it's all free. And it's great for kids to understand, because the conventional wisdom for bullying is go tell someone, tell your parents, tell your teacher. And it's usually, that's the worst thing, right? It's the worst thing. So I'm a bully and I'm bullying you, and you go and tell on me and I get in trouble or get detention or something or get a talking to, I'm going to get you back. I'm going to find out a way to get you back where I can't get caught. I'll catch you on the way home from school, or I'll find a way to make your life miserable, where the kids find a way, right? A kid that, now I'm not saying if a kid's getting hurt, he shouldn't, physically hurt, he should absolutely go get help. I'm talking about verbal bullying, not dangerous bullying. Anyway, enough, Robert. Awesome news. Thanks for sharing. That's why shutting down kids camp is a good thing. And that was 23 minutes ago. I'll do one more refresh just in case. Yeah, awesome news. Thanks for sharing. That's it for today. Oh my gosh. It's not the number of comments that kept this like at almost 55 minutes. It is me going off on tangents today. I hope you, those of you that stayed this long and suffered through it, thank you. I really appreciate it. And not that I don't appreciate people that watch 5 minutes of it. If you watch any of my videos, even 10 seconds, I appreciate you. Thank you. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.